Cricket's unpredictable. Your health shouldn't be. Get Health Vital, a health insurance with premium starting at just Rs 12 per day.
Hello and welcome to a new video on Revsportz. I am Snehasis Mukherjee reporting from Dubai, and along with me my colleague Bharat Ramaraj is here, and we both are in the ICC Academy here in Dubai, as today both Australia and New Zealand had their training session here, because tomorrow the big game it is Australia versus New Zealand in Sharjah. New Zealand are coming after a win over India, as you all know, and Australia also registered a victory over Sri Lanka in Sharjah. So I think Australia will look to be more happy that they had played a game already in Sharjah, but it will be a new challenge for New Zealand because they had played that game against India in Dubai. So overall today we attended the press conference also. Suji Bates came, from New Zealand to attend the press conference. In that press conference, we asked her that facing Australia, how much challenging it would be, because as Bharat mentioned, Bharat said that what is the record that Bharat you mentioned that
last 6 years they won 2 games or something.
So you,
20 years.
yeah, so you can clearly say that the when it comes to the head-to-head numbers, the Australia are starting this game as favorites.
Yes.
And even before coming to this World Cup, Australia registered a 3-0 victory over New Zealand in a T20 series bilateral series. But when we ask the same question, when it comes to facing Australia, what will be a new challenge or not, Suji Bates answered that it's a World Cup game, it's a new fresh challenge. Whatever happened in the past, it's already done and dusted. So how she answered the question, I will say she looked very confident, and she said that how we played against India in the opening game, the camp, the whole squad in a good mood, and they are hoping that they can replicate the same game plan tomorrow also against Australia. But she also mentioned that facing them in Sharjah will be different. They have to adapt to the conditions because they know that the condition will be different from Dubai, and they are hoping that they can put up a good show. Bharat also, you also asked about the bonding with the young guns of the team, so you can tell about that.
Yeah, first of all, Australia, New Zealand, you talked about the head-to-head and all. She added one more point. Playing Australia, she said, also helped New Zealand.
Yeah.
Because when you're playing a very strong opponent just before the World Cup,
Yes.
it definitely helps your side. That's what she basically said. And when I interviewed Hanaro, one of their bowlers, she also said something similar, that playing Australia and England helped a team like New Zealand, because when you're playing a couple of strong opponents before the World Cup, then definitely your level also will go up. I think that is an important point to consider. I guess that is what helped New Zealand when they played against India, because they were playing against a couple of really formidable opponents. Yes, Suji Bates also talked about playing in Sharjah and how young guns like Georgia Plimer are now scoring runs. Sharjah, obviously, the conditions are different. You know that batting first team generally wins there. At least in this Women's World Cup, even scoring 120 seems like is enough to win a match in Sharjah, especially if the dew doesn't come into play. So that would be an interesting factor to consider tomorrow with Australia and New Zealand. That perhaps levels up the play as well, I guess, between Australia and New Zealand. If, for example, New Zealand win the toss and score about 115 or 120, who knows, they might even go on to upset the apple cart. But because if you look at the head-to-head record, unless you're going back right down to 2010 when New Zealand were winning most of the games against Australia women in T20Is, it's Australia who dominated over the last 14 years, especially since they won that match in that World Cup final in 2010. Yeah, Georgia Plimer, she talked about her scored some runs against India. It was good to see from New Zealand's point of view, because here is a player who has really struggled at the top of the order. She was averaging about 10. Bates talked about how that 50 she scored in a practice game also helped her to really get some confidence, because the race Plimer played was completely different. Was a completely different approach compared to how she played against England in the recent matches. So that 50 must have definitely ramped up her game, or ramped up her confidence or self-belief.
Yes, absolutely. All that we can hope that we can expect an exciting game tomorrow, because both the teams are solid and two top teams, and hopefully a cracking game waiting for us. But now we will focus, we'll shift our focus to Indian camp. As we all know that, day after tomorrow, India will face Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And we all know that is a very important game.
Yes.
India registered a good victory over Pakistan, but obviously the net run rate question is all over the social media right now. But today there was no practice session for Team India. But some players like Shriti Mandana, Sajana Sanjeevan were seen in the ICC academy, leaving the ICC academy. I think they had some optional training maybe. Coach Amul Majumdar was also seen. So, but overall the team had no practice session. I think 2 or 3 players, like as I mentioned, who were there, and they had small practice sessions. But Sri Lanka had their full team here, and they had practice session. Me and Bharat both watched them. They were having practice session. So that is the update from the Indian camp. And regarding Harmanpreet's injury, whatever sources that we have managed to talk about, she is good as of now. As of now, she is good. But as we will progress, we will further progress to the match. We will get more updates and definitely we will share with you. But coming to the last question, we will talk about the Australia-New Zealand game again. Bharat, let's think about the situation. If New Zealand defeat Australia, and let's pretend that India defeats Sri Lanka, then how much crucial will be that India-Australia game in Sharjah? Will that be the virtual knockout or virtual quarter-final game of this World Cup?
Yeah, obviously, if you look at the scenarios, if it goes that way, yeah, there's also a small matter of Australia defeating someone like Pakistan. They will are expected to.
Yeah.
So if everything goes according to that, if India defeats Sri Lanka, and if Australia go down to New Zealand, again that's again a scenario which may not happen. Because we're looking at 70-30, I guess, 65, at least 65-35, 70-30 Australia's favor. Then it could happen in such a situation. But again, Sharjah conditions, as I noted, the toss could play a role. Once again, I am bringing the dew factor because yesterday here there was dew.
Exactly.
In that West Indies game there was dew, so you never know.
The way she batted.
External factor might come into the picture as well. But if dew doesn't come in Sharjah conditions, again, hypothetically, we are going very far ahead. The 13th, whatever, week and 6 days in advance we are going. But even if you do that, then in Sharjah conditions, for example, if India bat first, get again 115, 120, dew doesn't come into play, then a team like India definitely has a chance as well to upset Australia because they have the spinners. India have the spinners, always remember that. Sobana might not be a good fielder, obviously she is a poor fielder, but she's a good spinner, especially for those conditions.
Exactly.
Radha is there, Shriyanka was slowing it up yesterday, Dipti Sharma in those conditions again will become a handful. So India have the kind of bowlers to challenge Australia. Basically, if, for example, if I were the India captain, just I'm telling it hypothetically. Hypothetically, I'm just saying.
Yes, you can say.
Hypothetically, if I were the India captain, then I would think my best chance is at Sharjah, even more than Dubai. Yeah, obviously, I'm not thinking of external factors here, but that's what I would really believe, that if I have to defeat Australia, then it's at Sharjah.
Hopefully the same belief that Bharat has, hopefully the team also have. But before that Australia match, the main focus will be on Sri Lanka. So we will back with all the latest updates regarding the practice session and the press conference before that game. So please stay tuned on Revsportz for all the latest updates, and please do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.